Welcome everybody back to A&M and AM, episode 24. I'm back here with my buddy Mort after his movie of a weekend.
You could say that. That for sure.
Surprised he made it here, but he's here and that's all that matters. I mean, he had a pretty rough Saturday. Saturday was probably the worst of the nights, I would have to say.
I don't know. I'd put them about equal because just the events that had happened on Friday night.
Okay.
Like the outside of the the partying events. I think they would equal each other out that case.
That's understandable. I mean, Friday night really centered around that Lakers game. Lakers obviously did not come up clutch. We had to wait.
Neither did Danny Green.
We had to wait till some. Do you know what? Okay, so before that game, I said if Danny Green takes a clutch shot in the fourth, and you were like, "There's no way he doesn't come in the fourth quarter." And as soon as I wasn't even paying attention to the game, I look up at the TV and I'm like, Danny Green's on the floor, and LeBron's driving to the basket, and all I see is he passes back to Danny, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's gonna happen."
I was hoping for our sake it was gonna happen. For everybody's sake, for Danny's sake, I was hoping it would happen. And then I wasn't surprised when it didn't happen.
Danny would have been like, they would have carried him off the court.
Oh yeah.
It would have been one of the wildest game-winning shots in NBA history.
But they also would have still had to play defense. And
for like a couple seconds.
They would have taken it down and just scored it on Danny's dome. So.
But it would have been like a couple of seconds. It was like barely anything, really.
I don't know if the Heat or anybody had a timeout, but if they did, then Spoelstra would have drawn up the right play anyway. So.
Yeah. Then our Lakers ended up having to win on Sunday night, and they pulled out that victory, their 17th championship.
They tied the Celtics for most all time.
So I mean, you got them up there. So then I mean, this runs into our main topic of the video today. Does AD come back and run it back?
Obviously.
I mean, that's what everyone assumes. I mean, if you don't think he's coming back, then I don't know. He's definitely signing that max deal with them no matter what. I think.
There would be no reason not to.
Yeah. Except they have the space, obviously. So, yeah, he's doing. Unless, I mean, so the whole presence of our video today is the free agency. Free agency starts next week, and Monday, right?
I have no idea. I still haven't seen a date. I just went by what Nick said.
Yeah, so it's starting next week.
It could even not be next week. We'll just believe in him, so I don't know.
Yeah, so we've been told it's starting next week, so we wanted to get out our top free agency picks. And obviously Anthony Davis is a top free agent. He has a player option. He's obviously going to opt into that and then, or he already opted into it, or...
No, he'd have to opt out to get the contract.
Or, I mean, he could opt into it and then sign an extension after the fact.
Yeah, but he'd opt out to get the Supermax.
True. Yeah, you're right.
Because if he opts in, then he gets like that, whatever,
then
15 or 20 million, whatever, and then he has to resign next year.
True, you're right. So yeah, obviously Anthony Davis, he's signing that, or he's gonna opt out of his player option and then sign the Supermax. If he doesn't go back to LA, hypothetically, I think his top option right now is the Chicago Bulls.
Well, yeah, because that's where it's been ever since before he became a Laker. That's what they were saying.
And I think he showed interest in the Knicks, but it's the Knicks. They're not going to be able to pull him in.
No, I think his dad was the one that said that he wasn't going to let him go to the Knicks or the Celtics.
Yeah.
So.
So then obviously we go down and we have probably the second top free agent with just his performance this year. We have Brandon Ingram, and he's restricted, obviously, but
he's also going to get the bag.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's obviously going to get the Supermax, it's super.
It's like a max. I don't think it's super. I don't know the difference between them. But I think it's just a regular.
I think Supermax is like 50 million more or something. I don't know, but he's going to get the max deal from the Pelicans. Hopefully, if not, I mean, could you see him involved in a trade this offseason for one of those top tier picks? Because basically I say you're almost 4 teams in that top 5 are willing to trade out, which is crazy.
Yeah, but Brandon Ingram is better than all of those picks.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt, he's been in the league. He showed what he got a 25-point game score, at least, and he showed
And that makes it so if they don't keep Lonzo around, they already have Brandon Ingram on a max by the time Zion's ready for one that
True.
he'll probably get for no reason.
He'll get it next year already. So yeah, Ingram, if he doesn't sign with the Pelicans, who do you think honestly is a realistic contender for him?
I honestly can't. I can't think of another team that he'd go to besides like how we keep saying the Knicks.
Well, I was gonna say honestly the Bulls again. I was gonna say the Bulls. I mean,
I don't think they have that kind of money for these like big contracts.
they would have to offload. They would have to trade out a couple of their guys, but they can make the money.
Yeah, but it's again like with Anthony Davis, there's no reason to go to the Bulls for either one of them.
Except for just getting out of the West if he wanted to. He got a ring. He go see if he can prove himself on another team after having winning.
So we're just gonna see KD battle KD for the rest of the year in the Eastern Conference.
Basically, yeah. So now, obviously, so the list we're looking off is on slamonline.com, and they have it spaced off into like your superstars, and then you have your established stars. So Ingram and Davis, obviously they count those as their superstars, and then your established stars you have DeRozan, Drummond, Hayward, Gallinari, and Conley. Now DeRozan, he has a player option. For the money wise, I think he opts in on that and just stays with the Spurs. Or
yeah, I know a lot of people don't want him there, but I don't really see him going anywhere except for like a bench role. And like if he did, maybe something like the Hawks or something to add a little bit of veteran leadership to them.
Or he goes to
off the bench.
Or he goes to a team like the Kings that obviously are maybe gonna lose their shooting guard and
Bogdanovic.
Yeah, Bogdanovic. And then they're obviously Buddy Hield wants out of there, so maybe he could go there, get a role, kind of help them with maybe a guard they're gonna draft this year, kind of progress their younger people there.
I mean, also like if they don't want any shooters, and it'd be like them getting rid of Miles Turner, but going to the Pacers and putting in T.J. Warren at power forward with Sabonis at center.
And now that he could even play that 2 guard. Now that you saw that
but if that's if Oladipo stays too, it'd be like Brogdon, Oladipo, DeRozan, and I mean their defense would be good.
Oh, it'd be top notch. It would be one of the better defenses in the league. I don't think they want.
They'd all be standing in the paint trying to get the ball.
I don't think they want to move T.J. Warren to the power forward. He's too small for. He's like 6'7". I mean, obviously that's kind of the wave now is having a small power forward. DeRozan played power forward in the play-in games for them. I mean, he was just being insane there. Then we have Drummond. I think Drummond stays no matter what. I
also do. I think he'll actually extend there for no reason.
Yeah, I think
they'll be the only ones that'll give him the money.
I think either them or Dallas.
Yeah, I've also been thinking Dallas because everybody says that. But like with Porzingis, just had meniscus surgery out of nowhere.
Oh, he did?
I don't know if you saw that or not. Nobody's talking about it.
I did not see that. I haven't even.
I saw on it was
Woj or Shams, and neither of them tweeted that out to me.
It was on Friday. I saw that on the bottom of ESPN. Like it just randomly said Kristaps Porzingis has successful meniscus surgery.
It might have been like a minor surgery, just like to tweak something that from before, you know.
They better hope so because they can't miss another year of him.
I mean, Kristaps can't. Honestly, if he misses another year due to knee injury, I think his career is about as good as Derrick Rose. I think if anything, he'll get minor roles on teams, but he is nowhere near the max player he once was going to be. And yes, a lot of Knicks fans called him a bust at the very beginning, but he turned out to not be a bust. But if the injuries continue, unfortunately, due to his height,
before the ACL, he was on pace to be the best power forward in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
but outside of AD, but
yeah. I mean, if he would have stayed healthy, I think he could have competed with AD, honestly, because he was very athletic.
Well, I was gonna say I don't think he was as athletic as Anthony Davis, but now you're saying that, so I don't know.
I mean, he was. When you think about it, he could make post moves. He could do all that just because of how.
I think AD can dribble better, and I think he obviously can jump better, probably, even though Kristaps is 7'3". Yeah. So.
And Kristaps did have the shot on him, which I think. If he did have another knee problem, he needs to turn into more of kind of that outside shooter and maybe drift away from the paint a
Which
little
is
bit.
kind of what they were trying to do when they had Boban there and Dwight Powell and
And maybe if they bring
all
in
like all 12 of their other centers they had on that team. I swear they had every center imaginable on that team.
and maybe if they bring in a guy like Drummond that could really focus on helping Chris
Him and Kristaps rebounding.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. So then you got Gordon Hayward. I think he opts out. I don't think Celtics is. I don't think he thinks they're a fit for him anymore. Or I think he opts in and he gets traded.
I don't think they were fit for him either. But at the same time, it's another guy. Like I have no idea where he could go because nobody's gonna pay him the money he wants. So
and
I
I
would
think-
assume he takes the option to get this last paycheck.
Well, I think he knows that if he opts in, he's getting traded. He knows that. Opts out, I think he can go somewhere and get enough money over a longer contract on a team that's willing to take a gamble on him. That saying, okay, hopefully he can return to his Utah days. He wasn't getting a chance in with the Celtics. Hopefully we can get him on a cheaper deal, like maybe like $15 million a year. 15
I mean,
mil for
possibly back to Utah, I could see, or like again the Pacers. I don't know why I just keep giving the Pacers wings that wing defenders, but just because I can't think of anybody that would actually like want him or where he could fit at, just off the top of my head.
maybe
I mean,
even
if I thought about it more, maybe, but
maybe even Orlando.
yeah,
I mean,
because if
it's
they have a chance to lose Evan Fournier this year.
It's not a flashy pick, not a flashy place for him, but it's a place that makes sense. He could kind of turn into that veteran on the team. He could go maybe shift to the 2 guard even, and allow like Jonathan Isaac to play, or I don't even know what they do there. Jonathan Isaac's their 3 or 4, and then Gordon is their.
It's if he's back too, because he had surgery.
Oh, I forgot. And he was honestly looking good near the
I mean,
end.
if you get him to fill, if you get Hayward on the 1-year deal to fill Isaac's spot, like I don't know why you'd want to anyway to like try to compete without Isaac, but I mean it's the Magic, so they're good for being the 8th seed every year anyway.
But if you give Hayward, it's just I think it's the fact of someone just giving Hayward that chance, and if you give him that 1-year prove it chance and he does good, he might be like, okay, you guys gave me a chance, I'll sign with you on like maybe a high contract but a discounted price, you know.
It could be also like I said with DeRozan, another bench guy, like another 6th man.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if they're losing if they have a chance to lose Evan Fournier, I can't think of their other shooter that they have that would just step in. But I know they have somebody else there off the bench. Was Terrence Ross still there this year?
Yes, I think he got hurt though. I don't remember for sure though, but he definitely is on the team. He got hurt, I want to say though, or no, he was starting in the play-in games. He definitely or in the playoffs even it was. I think he had a game or two that he did decent against the Bucks.
I don't want to ruin the league here, but just stay with me.
Okay.
Dare I say, Hayward and whatever of one or two of those picks that the Celtics have that are first round.
Yeah.
For Vucevic, and Mo Bamba starts, and then the Magic tear it apart. They have Fultz, Isaac, Mo Bamba, and whoever they draft with Gordon Hayward.
Honestly, I don't even think that's tearing apart the league. I think that's perfect. Works out perfectly for the Celtics. Doesn't blow up the Magic, but puts them into a retooling stage where they give Mo Bamba an opportunity, which I do. But I think Mo Bamba is in the same position Bam Adebayo was. He just needs that opportunity, and I feel like I honestly don't feel like that's blowing up the league.
Because like it saves the Magic the money that they're paying Vucevic too.
Yeah, and it gets Mo Bamba to prove it, to have like 2 prove it years to be like, okay, if we want to give you this contract extension after these 2 years, you need to prove it to us right now, here and there.
See, I was wondering too. I just looked it up. The Celtics' first pick in the first round was the 14th. So you're getting Hayward in the 14th and maybe another one or another future one.
Do like a few,
Vucevic.
do like 2 years out protected top 5 or something like that.
Because then, and what I did I'm only saying this because I had this idea of I did this in my 2K rebuild a few days ago. I didn't get Gordon Hayward. I also didn't trade Vucevic to the Celtics, but it's for this point guard. If RJ Hampton falls, and you can get him at the Magic, and he's a 6th man, him and Fultz. If Fultz does end up working out, you got RJ. If Fultz does work out, you got RJ off the bench.
Fultz.
Yeah.
No, you got RJ.
And
No,
then if Fultz comes to the time where he is good, you don't want to pay him. You just have RJ that can step in.
or even take this into consideration. Say RJ ends up okay. Say that happens, the trade happens and everything. RJ does good. Let's say hypothetically Isaac is still out. Come mid-season when all this is going down and Hampton is showing that he can be in the starting lineup. You have Fultz, Hampton, Hayward, Gordon, Bamba as your starting five. And again, not flashy, very young. You got a veteran
And then
in
they
there.
sign someone like, I don't know, Davis Bertans or something, another
Yeah,
shooter.
off the bench. Yeah, you just.
I'm only saying his name because I know he's on this list. But I mean, even if you can't get RJ, the crowd favorite that I like to keep going back to, Cole Anthony.
Yeah.
He's another small guard. The Magic are used to small athletic guards.
And he's a guy that they can take a chance on and know that it's going to be a year or two before he can come into full fruition.
They're used to the small athletic guards and DJ Augustine. And I feel like they had someone else right around that same time. Oh, they did Peyton Siva for a little bit, didn't they?
No, maybe they could.
When
Honestly,
he was with the Pistons or before it or after or something like that.
Because the thing with the Magic is you never really know who. This Shelvin Mack was on their team at one point, I want to say. But it feels like you never know who the Magic starting point guard is. It just feels like it's always.
I just always guess it's DJ Augustine.
It's always because he always ends up back there. I feel like, but it's always someone random, and then they end up doing good with whoever it is. Now here's another guy that could fill that role on that Magic team, or as most I've seen is go to Lakers, Gallinari. Some people.
I think the Heat still. I think they'd get rid of Olynyk. They save the money that they're getting from Olynyk and give it to Gallinari.
And Gallinari showed on that Thunder team that he is still a very valuable player in this league.
Yeah, and then if they don't do that Giannis trade we proposed, they have Gallinari to stretch it next to Bam. Gallinari can kind of rebound still, so I mean it helps them. If not, Jimmy's still there. I mean,
yeah.
I think that's still the best fit. I know everybody's been saying it for years, but
Gallinari's he's gonna get a smaller deal, 1-2 years, nothing big. But
'cause he said that I saw a quote that he said he thinks he could still play and like something about he wasn't gonna ring chase or anything.
I could even see him saying, "Hey, let's run it back with the Magic, or let's run it back with the Thunder."
That's if they keep Chris Paul and get somebody else in there.
True. Which I mean, even if you're trading Chris Paul, that team is still.
I think
so
trade Steven
good.
Adams though. If
Yeah,
you're gonna trade anybody.
I think Steven Adams' time in Oklahoma City is coming to an end. They've tried that big man offense. I think they need to go more of a not stretch big, but maybe a younger guy, maybe someone that.
And they have a bunch of picks coming up. I just think, and plus Steven Adams cuts your final ties to the old Thunder teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. Now the last player in your established stars list, you have Mike Conley, who's on an early termination option.
I think he stays.
You think he stays? I don't know what that means exact early termination. I don't know if that means he has a couple more years on his deal, and this is a year that he can be like, okay, I want out, but I think he stays just for the money.
I have no idea. I think he stays. Plus, again, it's like I have no idea where he could fit anyway.
I feel like there's a lot of good point guards in this league already that if he went anywhere, he would be a backup. So I think he stays with.
Yeah, he definitely would.
He stays with the Jazz, and I think one of these weeks we need to look at the Jazz as a whiteboard because I feel like they need to blow it up in some way, shape, or form. They've showed what they have can get them to the playoffs, but they can't get over that hump.
I think their problem is if they blow it up, Donovan Mitchell wants out, and so really all they can really get rid of would be either Conley or Gobert, but you'd have to get equal value back for Gobert, or else Donovan Mitchell will be mad.
Yeah. I saw something that Gobert goes to the Warriors. I think you might have sent that to me. Gobert goes to the Warriors for that second pick. They bring in Wiseman, and they got somebody else from it too. But that gives Mitchell.
Honestly, give up Wiggins because then Gobert's on a big contract too.
Yeah, I think it was Wiggins honestly, and then they're saying that Wiggins plays that 3 spot, and it kind of.
Or if you can get a legit shooting guard,
Mm-hmm.
you can get McCollum or Beal or something. I mean, I don't know how it's saying like you get rid of Conley somehow.
Yeah.
You get somebody to take him. I mean, he is on his last year of that big deal that he signed, but you do that and you can somehow get a good shooting guard.
And then you play.
And Donovan Mitchell at point guard. That's what everybody's saying is like Donovan Mitchell could move to point guard.
That's why.
easily.
That's why
he's been playing basically point guard because Conley's either been hurt or gone. Because I don't think Conley was even in the bubble this year.
He was, and he came back, but I don't know if he ever really. He played games, but I think he was coming off the bench mostly.
Because they've shown like how Donovan Mitchell needs the ball in his hands and he can work as the point guard.
But what was happening is I think when Conley was on the floor, or when Mitchell was on the floor, he was point guard. No matter who else was on the floor, Conley, Clarkson, I want to say Exum because he's not on that team anymore. But whoever out there, all their point guards on that team, Moutier, that's what I'm thinking of. But whoever else was on that court, it was Mitchell was point guard. You guys should play the shooting guard role. And I do think Mitchell is going to thrive as a point guard in this league because him and Murray, I feel like I want to say that's going to be a good rivalry for a good 10+ years if they both stay on their respective teams. I feel like they're going to have a good rivalry there.
I mean, again, I don't know how they could do it unless the Kings just absolutely gave up already. But if you keep Donovan Mitchell at point guard, I feel like De'Aaron Fox could fit next to him.
Or if you want to do it, if the Kings are truly
or Beal, yeah. I mean,
Buddy.
Field, you're about to say, yeah.
Buddy, because I mean that gives them another shooter there. Maybe work with him a little bit, kind of progress him along. You're bringing them into another good scorer. You can have a great backcourt. You could even keep Gobert there. You're probably not trading high for Buddy if he wants out, or you are trading high because I don't know.
Because I think that they can get a lot out of Buddy. I mean, yeah, you can get a decent return, but he's not like top.
Because they traded a first-round pick for him. I think that's why they're kind of gonna be high on him. So then we got our emerging stars list here. We got Fred VanVleet. Now, everyone's saying he's going to get the max for what he did in Toronto, and I know you said that Toronto should give him the max, but no one else should because
I was just about to say that again. I was going to say, yeah, I think he gets it from the Raptors, and I don't think anybody else should offer it to him. I think he's very good, yes. Do I think he's max worthy? Probably not. I mean, especially if you're trying to save money towards somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, he's shown that he can be that guy, but also at the same time, he's more valuable to the Raptors and their system than he is to anybody else for that max.
And that's what I was going to say. He's more of that. He shows he can be that guy with the guys he has around him, with Lowry, with Powell, with
OG.
OG, yeah. He shows he can be that guy with the pieces around him. Say, because there's been a lot of reports that he's going to sign with the Pistons in the offseason. Say the Pistons. Who's his Lowry? Who's his OG? Who's his Powell? Who you're not.
I actually saw this isn't coming from me. This isn't coming from me. I just saw this yesterday. I saw another team that could come out of nowhere and sign him, which I doubt because of the money situation, and also like it shows that they wouldn't be giving him a max either. But I saw he could possibly look into the Lakers, and that could be their missing point guard, like as a shooter and stuff. Like I don't see that fit also too well.
It would have to be a sign and trade if anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
sure Danny Green going back to Toronto.
No, it would have to be. If anything, it would have to be a sign and trade on. I mean,
I just don't see how it works anyway. But I saw that yesterday.
Money wise, it does not work. I mean, it makes sense shooter wise, but fit wise, I just don't think he would fit well with LeBron.
No, because he needs the ball. LeBron needs the ball. Anthony Davis needs the ball.
Yeah.
Plus, like Rondo showed that he still has value.
But honestly, I don't think VanVleet is a number one. I don't think he'll ever be a number one. A good solid number two, and even possibly a number 3, yes. But never will he be a number one. I mean, I'm not discrediting the guy. He's a great basketball player. He can make clutch shots. He can make shots when he needs to. But I don't think he has it in him to be that number one on a team, carry a team.
I think he stays in Toronto and him and Siakam run it up for the next few years.
And then I don't want to say they trade Lowry, but
I think he's got 1 year left or something like that. And then they just let him go.
I think they bring him back on a small contract, kind of.
I mean, yeah, if he does that, then yeah, if he wants to show how loyal and stuff.
He can go down as one of the greatest Raptors in history if he stays there. I mean, he's when you think of the Raptors, you think of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. And I mean, I think even like we were saying earlier, I didn't mention it, but I think DeRozan makes his way back to the Raptors.
I was gonna
at
say,
some
I was
point.
just about to say that, yeah, too.
I think if they lose Fred, you may see DeRozan going.
I mean, I think you can even still get DeRozan.
Yeah.
He's not gonna want a ton, especially
And-
if he wants to go back to Toronto.
Yeah, he's been in Toronto his whole career, and I'm not saying you can tell he's unhappy in San Antonio, but he's not happy in San Antonio.
He's not really like too happy that they won it without him. So I feel like he'd want to go back to try to prove something. Could he prove something? No, probably not. But
I mean, you could honestly, he could take that 6-man role. He could come off the bench. He could go off. Him and Powell could go off. And then you got, who's your backup?
I feel like OG is a little bit better than DeRozan at this point.
No, that's what
I feel like OG does what DeRozan did back then without the athleticism.
No, that's what I'm saying. OG would start. OG's a starter there. OG's amazing in Toronto. He's showed he's going to be a star for the future. But that's why I think DeRozan comes back as a 6-man. So then you got another man as an emerging star, Montrezl Harrell. I personally said he's going to get the max wherever he goes, just because he showed he was one of the best in a very tight sixth-man race this year of the year. He showed that he was the best, and he showed that he could be a quality starter on any
The
team
problem is,
to.
does he want to start or does he want to be the 6-man? Because he was playing starter minutes as a 6-man. And
Okay,
everything
what's
else,
the difference, though?
I know, but it's just like, to him, what does he want to be? He make up his mind if he wants to start or if he wants to be the 6-man.
I mean, you can't control him
because when you obviously have him that's better than Zubac, and you're still starting Zubac over Montrez, like something's going on there.
It just I don't know. I don't understand how teams do it. Because same thing with Lou Will. Lou Will, he played starter minutes, but he came off the bench after like 1 or 2 minutes. Same thing with Schroeder. He played starter minutes, came off the bench after 1 or 2 minutes when they were running 3 point guards, which is, I still find that insane, and how they made the playoffs like that. But you have these guys playing starter minutes, but they're literally coming in a minute or two after tip off. Why? What is the reasoning there? I don't understand it, honestly.
My favorite fit is still, if they don't get Drummond, my favorite fit's still the Mavs. It's the same thing we just said about all that same stuff we just said about Drummond. Harrell does the same thing.
And I think, honestly, if, say, Mavs get Drummond, Cavs go Montrez. And I feel like it gives them that young star.
Unless Montrez wants to go to contender, or stay.
True. That is understandable. But the
Cavs aren't necessarily a good looking place to be when you have a contender that you could be with too.
I know, but I'm also saying the Cavs can give him the money if he wants to get out of LA. So then we got our brimming with potential list here. We have David Bertans. As you said, I don't think he's a starter. He showed he can perform well as a starter in Washington, but I think he goes back somewhere as kind of like a 6-man, and I think he could win 6-man of the year potentially in the years to come.
I just don't know how good of a defender he is, so that's why I wouldn't have him starting.
He's not that great.
I was gonna say, I don't think he is very good. So as I said, I think I said the Magic for him earlier, right?
Yes, you said the Magic. You said the Magic if the whole trade or whatever went down.
I mean, or he just stays with the Wizards, which I wouldn't be surprised either. But again,
and he's unrestricted.
Like we talked about last week, the Wizards have too many big guys as it is.
Yeah.
And so you could just easily move Mo to the power forward or shooting power forward. But I mean,
yeah. So yeah, Bertans. I think he just goes somewhere someone that needs a big man shooting big man off their bench. I don't really have a fit for him really.
I think they'll be getting their guys back, but I feel like the Trailblazers wouldn't be a bad fit.
Honestly,
I
maybe even
can't think of who they will play.
Maybe even to start, they were playing Melo.
I was gonna say besides Melo, but I thought so.
Maybe even to start there. Honestly.
So it's not ideal that you move Melo back to small forward, but if you wanted to, or like you said, still have Bertans off the bench and then Nurkic
or Zach. They were really high in Zach Collins.
Yeah, and he was hurt. That's why I was thinking like he's getting him back.
So yeah, I don't know. Pacers. Trailblazers aren't a bad fit for him.
Because then you have Nasir Little too, that's playing the small forward.
And he got hurt too.
Yeah, if you keep Melo at power forward starting, and you put Nasir Little, because Rodney Hood's coming back from an ACL too.
Yeah, and I was gonna say Trevor Ariza, but he opted out due to other things. But I think Bertan's either a starter or even a key bench player for them there, and I feel like he could sign there for around 15 mil a year, roughly, somewhere around there.
Because
Maybe a
like that
little bit
was the
more.
thing that they outside of Lillard and McCollum. I mean, Melo a little bit, but they didn't have guys that could move without the ball.
Yeah, and they didn't have guys that could. You got Gary Trent. Trailblazers are looking good because Gary Trent was really going off in the bubble for the little time that he showed against the Lakers, especially. He was going off, and I think that's gonna be a. I feel like that kind of clears the air for maybe a McCollum trade soon. Is Gary Trent going?
Yeah, but I mean, I would obviously take McCollum because he's more established and everything.
I
but
guess, yeah.
you keep Gary Trent as your sixth man and point guard, shooting guard, whatever, off the
Yeah.
bench, then.
True. All right, so our next player we have Christian Wood, and I think
He's staying in Detroit.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pistons are throwing him a max. He's staying in Detroit. I don't think there's really any argument. I don't think I've seen him going anywhere else really in any news articles. I think he stays in Detroit. Pistons have expressed that they want him. He expressed that he wants to stay with the Pistons, and you don't have that often. So I think you capitalize on that with the.
Plus, he'd be the man. He's not gonna go anywhere else to be the man and stuff. So.
And I mean, you get a man. You're getting your guy out of someone that was nothing, and you gave him a chance. And he showed when you traded Drummond. You said, "Hey, okay, you're our center now. Show us what you got." And he was.
Do I necessarily give him a huge deal? No, but I mean,
I think
if that's what it takes to keep him, I guess.
I think you give him a
the
tiny.
Pistons because you're not going to get anybody else in free agency.
I think you give him a tiny max. I don't know what you'd consider as a tiny max, but maybe like 80 million. 80 million over 4 years.
I guess because, like I said, you're not going to get anybody in free agency because you're the Pistons.
Mm.
So I mean, if you have your guy right there, then I guess it's like what we were saying with Fred. Like, to his value to the Raptors was worth it. Christian Wood's value to the Pistons is worth it.
Yeah. And I don't think he would fit anywhere else, honestly. Because I think he kind of likes being. I think when he was that guy in Detroit for those couple of games, he liked it, and he was putting up all-star numbers. He was in, I think it was like 10 or 20 games he started for us. He was putting up all-star numbers.
And he's like a Detroit guy. Like,
Yeah.
he just fits the mold.
Yeah. Next guy, you have Malik Beasley on a restricted deal. I think he stays with Minnesota because he was showing there at the end. He was putting up like 25 points per game. And I think either he stays with Minnesota. If he doesn't stay with Minnesota, he gets traded out of there after signing back to a deal.
I was gonna say if the Kings lose Bogdan, maybe go there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anybody can use a bench shooter, but
Yeah. I mean,
So
he
I
has
don't know.
potential to be a starter. He's still very young. I think he's like 23. He's still very young, so he still has time to develop a little bit before he hits kind of like that peak point around like 26, 27, where you're either still going up or you're just at a flat line or you're going completely down. So, yeah, I feel like he stays there or he goes to a guy or a team that absolutely needs a shooting guard, like you said.
they'll pay.
Yeah, that will pay. Like the Kings, they're losing Bogdan, could lose Buddy. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, I could see him out of there soon if they don't do something. Okay, and then you have your. We're gonna kind of skip through here because I'm gonna say we gotta talk about every single one of these. Bogdan, right off the back, I think he leaves. He's restricted, so obviously they can match any offer. But I think, I don't think he'll get that big a deal, so I think they will match it.
I think they match it if Buddy stays. I think their first priority should be trade Buddy and let Bogdan start.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, again, he could go anywhere and play. Everybody was talking about him getting traded for Kuzma. I think he could be a starter on almost any team that needs a shooting guard, but also like another bench shooter.
Yeah.
I think we're saying a lot of these guys don't fit anywhere. I feel like Bogdan could fit in a majority of teams. Like even
definitely.
like the Sixers or something. Add another shooter.
Yeah,
Off the bench.
because he oh god, he accepts his role as a bench player, unlike some of these other guys that have gotten the taste of the starting lineup and are like, I'm good enough to be in that starting lineup. Why would I go to a team that's going to put me on the bench? So yeah, I think Bogdan, he could go to really any team that would need a bench player and is willing to pay for a bench player now. Wait, did I just really get a? Oh, bold NBA offseason predictions. While we're doing
This always happens.
Lakers. Hold on, I just got to tap on this because I seen the Lakers at third score. CBS Sports. Who do we got here?
It's probably Fred. Everybody's talking Fred for out of nowhere. I don't see it. I don't believe it at all. But
and of course, it's going very. Of course, it's at like the very bottom.
oh yeah, they got to keep you in for it.
Okay, number 9. Detroit Pistons give Christian Wood $60 million for 3 years. So that was right around.
Okay, yeah, that fits.
That was right around my contract that I said 4 years, $80 million. So they're still giving $20 million a year, which I totally agree with that. Aaron Gordon Golden State Warriors acquire Aaron Gordon. That's what I saw seeing there. Okay. Lakers will trade Kyle Kuzma, Danny Green, and the first round pick for a third scorer. They're not saying who.
Okay, then maybe that's. I was gonna say to everybody's saying Oladipo.
Oh, right here. Buddy Hield, DeMar DeRozan, Evan Fournier, Terry Rozier, Derrick Rose, Levine, Tim Hardaway. Those are just some names that.
The only name I just heard from there that's worth that is Levine.
Yeah.
But people are saying Oladipo because he could add more defense,
and
be the shooting guard. He's a low risk, high reward.
And he's like on a 1 or 2 year deal. 1 year it would be just it would be a rental, and yeah. All right, so back to these the free agency. We'll throw Aaron Baines. Now, I personally think if the Suns obviously don't sign him back, he's unrestricted, and let's say because that Orlando trade was just a makeup, I think he goes to the Celtics. I think he goes back there.
I think he stays or goes to the Warriors. Because he fits the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors have so many big guys now, but
my top 3 teams, honestly, are Celtics, Warriors, and Pistons. If he doesn't stay with the Suns,
I think anybody would give him a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see him. He's another guy I could see him fit in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could say Celtics or Sixers or somewhere else like that. I mean, Sixers, they'd have to get rid of Horford though, and you could just rock out somebody else, and you can let Baines run the bench. But I think Suns.
That's where Horford gets traded, which everyone wants Horford to get traded. I mean, we made up that trade.
Do they sign and trade Horford to the Suns?
I don't think the Suns are that stupid. I
mean, if you're getting rid of Saric, I mean, I don't think that helps at all. But
I think James Jones. I think he's smart enough down there that he's not gonna trade for Al Horford. Just going through here. Okay, DeMarcus Cousins, because he's a big guy. That is he gonna sign back with the Lakers? Is he gonna go somewhere else? That's someone like that. I think he'll sign back with the Lakers. I think. I don't know.
I think the Lakers, or if the Knicks want to stupidly give him a big deal.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's going to be anybody. It's going to be the Lakers or someone that stupidly will give him a big deal.
Yeah, basically. That's why I can't think of another team really.
The Kings. Reunion. Vlade Divac's out of there. Joe Dumars is in there. Signs Cousins back.
Goes back to the Pelicans.
him and Zion rocking it in the paint there.
My goodness, 2 big old meatballs.
And then we got Hassan Whiteside. Does he stay with Portland? He's unrestricted.
Probably if he wants to be the bench guy.
But I mean,
that was the reason why
he left
Miami.
We talked about who their starting power forward was. They were running Nurkic and Hassan Whiteside, and they were doing decent.
And I don't think that works out in the whole season. That was decent for a few like scrimmage games in the bubble, but that doesn't work out a whole season.
No, not a chance. So yeah, I think he signs back with Portland and kind of just says, let's run it back. You get a couple more shooters. We can have a decent bench. Squad with the young guys we already have that were injured.
But then again, Zach Collins too.
Yeah. And so, if they don't
another stupid deal by the Knicks.
I mean, it seems like, or
the Kings. We keep saying the Kings. Yeah, I don't know why, but
because they kind of need a big man. They don't have a big man there anymore. And they were running. Who were they?
They
running?
had Henry Giles thinking he was gonna carry in Bagley.
Who was?
Oh no, I think it was Giles in Chicago.
Giles is in New York, I think.
No.
Yeah, remember because he was going to be part of that. No, that's Rab. No, Giles he's a free agent, but who was that guy? He was a center in the 76ers. Oh my god, I can't think of this right now.
Yeah, Giles plays for the Kings.
Yeah, he's a free agent this year, but who is that? Hold on. This is gonna annoy me until I find out here. Talking about dropping the King's name, Kent Bazemore's on the Kings. So where do you think Kent's going? He's a free agent this year.
I think anywhere for your sake, I'll give him to the Pistons.
Okay, I think Rashawn Holmes. He was their center.
Yes, that makes sense too. Yes.
Yeah, and so was Alex Lynn. Jabari Parker was on that team. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he went there, and you didn't hear from him ever again.
Valencia's on that team. Or however.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah.
So was Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, that's why I said Bagley was there. And you said no.
I forgot about Bagley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have a bunch of random guys they thought would be good, and they're just not.
But yeah. I think Hassan could go there and kind of be like, because he was drafted there. He was drafted there with Cousins, and then he just went right to the G League. Because it was it was literally the weirdest draft. They drafted 3 centers in that draft. Or no, I think they drafted. I could be. Might have to fact check, but I could be wrong. I think they drafted Isaiah Thomas, Hassan Whiteside, and DeMarcus Cousins all in the same year.
Well, Isaiah was either 60th or undrafted. I think it was the 60th. And it was either by the Kings or the Suns, one of the two.
It was by the Kings. Because, no, I know he was drafted to the Kings, but I think it went DeMarcus, Hassan, Isaiah. Imagine that big three. I guess.
It wouldn't surprise me for them wanting to build that as their big three.
But that goes right into that next guy, Isaiah Thomas. I mean, I've seen places saying he could go back to the Celtics as a 6-man. They kind of added on bad.
Like I said the other day that they need somebody better than Carson Edwards and Romeo Langford. Mm-hmm. I guess maybe for the nostalgia you get Isaiah Thomas back, but
if they have bad blood,
I still it's not like I don't know where he would be because he hasn't played in a while.
Yeah,
and when he has, it hasn't been that great. I feel like it was just like this one real good season with the Celtics, and now everybody just thinks like he's still there.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. He showed sparks, but I feel like it's kind of like it goes back to what I always say about football teams too. By like Nick Foles. It's more of he's a system quarterback. He's not gonna do good in other systems. He'll show flashes of greatness, but he's great when they're with one team, and that's what Isaiah is. He's a system point guard. He's good with the Celtics. You put him to any other team. I still can't believe Isaiah was traded straight for Kai. I don't understand where didn't they get a pick out of that though? They had to get a pick too.
Yeah, they got a pick, but it wasn't that great.
I thought it turned into like
It might have.
I think it turned into Garland or Sexton.
I was gonna say it might have been the Sexton one, but I don't know. I don't remember for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't. There's a lot of guys on this team or on this list. Obviously, there's.
I mean, if you want to go one last ride, Isaiah to the Celtics, sure.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, there's a lot of other guys on this list, but I mean, obviously, they're really lower rated, so they're not worth.
I saw KCP on there. Shout out KCP staying with the Lakers.
Yeah, I was gonna say KCP really showed. He showed out. I think he gets a decent contract with them.
He starts at shooting guard. Danny Green goes to the bench, or he goes to the G League. He goes to Lithuania. I don't care where he goes.
Yeah, but other than that, I think that's all we got for you guys today. I mean, we showed our top free agency picks. Free agency actually is next week. I still don't know. Draft is when is draft? They announced the draft, didn't they?
It's like November 16th or something like that.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday actually, because it's.
We'll do a live draft recap.
It's a Wednesday, so actually we'll be able to put out our mock draft that morning. So that'll be.
We'll be as up to date as we can, rumors and everything.
Literally, because I think we're posting our Buds mock draft on that Monday. It would be so. Then ours would be on Wednesday morning.
And ours is obviously going to be better. So.
And a thing we're doing for the Buds, I think we're assigning each person a pick, so it's a little less chaotic. So you kind of have to. You're becoming a GM for that team. You're becoming
But
a
how would I want to do it where we could like call up somebody for a trade, but like nobody's gonna accept it because they're gonna feel like they're getting fleeced.
Yeah, because I mean, because our plan was you kind of just give where so like obviously Brad's a fan of Minnesota, so he would get Minnesota's picks. We're fans of Pistons, so I think we agreed that we'd be co-GMs for the Pistons pick. Like Brad,
I wouldn't say necessarily I'm a Pistons fan. I just want to see the Pistons relevant.
yeah. So, but we like Brad wouldn't want to trade with us, so that would be a difficult spot there for trade wise. I don't think we'd be able to do trades. I think more of ours.
I was gonna say ours would be the one involving the trades.
Yeah, where that one is like a non-trade one. Where I do think you're gonna, because free agency is soon because free agency is before the draft.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Yeah.
So free agency is within the next 1 or 2 weeks. It is. So I actually personally like free agency before the draft. I mean, you're gonna see a lot more picks of like, okay, we got this person in free agency. We can kind of take a guy that we know we can have a year or two to develop, and we're not gonna have to rush into a starting spot because if we can't get this, we're not gonna pick this guy in case we can't get this guy in free agency. It's gonna I like it better because the NFL does it. I think no. Wait, do they? Yeah, I think the NFL does. They don't.
I have no idea.
I don't know, but I like that concept better personally. So yeah, so I think we're gonna have the Buds free agency talk on Monday. So that should be interesting considering we think it starts Tuesday. So I don't know.
If not, then it'll just be there for whenever it happens.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Next week we could be talking about people that are already signed with teams. So, Derek Jones Jr. Where's he going?
Everywhere.
Everywhere?
He fits absolutely
Okay.
everywhere.
Okay, he's just a bouncy man.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see Pistons personally, but that's just in my dreams.
That would be amazing.
That's just
Lob City V3 since they were V2, the V3 now.
we run like a lineup of like
Killian Hayes, Luke Kennard, Derek Jones, Blake, and Christian Wood. Just go catch it.
Just throw it up. Just throw it up, and then if you can't throw it up, you just pass it back to Luke, and he just shoots one from the logo. I think that's all we're gonna have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys could subscribe, hope we get to 8 subscribers, and also drop a like on the video. And we will see you guys. I think our picks video for the Buds is gonna be dropping after this on Wednesday due to the NFL or due to the game on Tuesday night, so picks should be around noonish today. So thank you guys for watching and see you guys next Wednesday.
Yo, shout out Andrew and MORT, bro.